I'll
things
turn it back around.
things have gone a little bit too smoothly right now. I'm suspicious that everything's working.
Give me one reason to stay here, and I'll turn it back around.
And we've got a copyright strike.
Oh, do we? Did that already happen?
Give me one reason to stay here.
Come on, record, record, record. Why are you not recording?
So, Paul and I spoke too soon. Paul and Ben talk about.
Hey, Ben Lawrence. Oh, no,
Oh,
nope.
good.
I don't have, no, don't have the microphone
False start.
in.
False
Don't have the
start.
microphone in. Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna keep
5 yard
going.
penalty.
We're
Replay
gonna
second
keep
down.
going. I'm just putting my microphone in now. Oh, wait, hold on. Nope, didn't work. Oh, here we go. All right, hold on, Ben. We're gonna start over. Why'd you do that? Not you, the computer. Why did the computer do that?
My coffee mug, has a hedgehog on it.
Why did it not stop now? It's the trackpad. It's got to be the trackpad. Okay. Edit. Undo record.
I scheduled a COVID and flu vaccine for Sunday. Paul, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I was able to get an appointment on Sunday. There's a website that says, schedule appointments, in your area, right? Local doctors looking to vaccinate people in your area, and all of the appointments were for the last week of October and the first week of November. There was nothing for the next 3 weeks, and then I saw one appointment available at the Bartels down the street from my apartment, oddly enough, and I pounced on it. So they must have had like a cancellation or something.
Ben Lawrence.
So Paul
Ben
Goody
Lawrence is talking to me right now.
And so
I started recording in the middle of his story. Ben, can you start over with your appointment story?
No, I mean the people are gonna hear it. They just won't hear your side of it. But there wasn't really your side of it, so I'm not gonna say anything else.
I just started recording.
Yeah, but I also
that's
recorded when I was talking, so I'll just
wait a second. Are we gonna start with your Oh no!
Oh my God, we're bucking episode 397, and we're bucking the trend.
We always start with my recording. How's this gonna work? Are you gonna be able to figure it out? Of course so. You just reverse it.
Scratch that, reverse it. So anyway, I'm gonna get vaccinated on Sunday, and hopefully it won't knock me out too much because I will have to go back to work on Monday.
Wait, is it the new COVID? Is that what you're getting?
The new COVID, yeah. It's an updated vaccine.
I don't think that I can get it yet. I don't think I can get it in my area.
When was your last vaccine?
Well, it was. Well, shoot. Let me see.
I mean, are you saying you're not going to be able to get it because you just got one?
No. I mean, I went and tried to get it at Walgreens, like a month ago, and it wasn't available. I guess maybe it just came out. The vaccine just dropped.
I don't know when this new one was released. I had a doctor's appointment, I want to say about a month ago, and he said that that they were going to get a shipment of the new ones in soon. So I think it is still very new.
So Ben, let's do this. Let's do this. We're going to find out together. We're going to find out together. It's going to be a very exciting Paul and Ben.
If you can get
go to Walgreens.
I tried to go to Walgreens first, and then I tried to go to CVS because that's actually where my prescription plan is. But I had to do it at a Bartels, which is owned by Rite Aid, and apparently, so Bartels. If you're from Seattle, you actually used to really love Bartels because it was a locally grown drugstore. But then it was bought by Rite Aid a number of years ago, and those people in the know seem to think that the quality of Bartels has gone downhill since then.
Because of it getting bought by Rite Aid?
Yeah, I think because it's like, it went from like a local like family chain to a national brand or a national chain with like more corporate oversight than it used to have, and I don't know. I've read some stories on Reddit about how like the service is a lot more terrible now than it used to be when it was still locally owned. And there was actually the only 24-hour pharmacy in the city of Seattle was the Bartels on Lower Queen Anne, and that's closing. So there will be
closing.
It's probably closed by now, as a matter of fact. And so there are no more 24-hour pharmacies in Seattle. I don't even know where the closest one is. If you need, that emergency medication.
Oh yeah,
at
it looks
3
like
a.m.
it's ready. Where does the patient want to get vaccinated? 62025.
In my arm.
Yeah, exactly. In the butt, Bob.
Not great, Bob.
Born? 1973. I've been watching what's his name? Jim Downey, writer for SNL and
on Conan's podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching some of those clips too.
I didn't know that I liked that guy, but I like that guy.
Yeah, he his stories about Norm Macdonald are really great.
Yeah, I didn't know. I should have known, but I didn't know that he was. It's like Penn and Teller, right? When people would get mad at Penn Jillette, and it was like, well, Teller is another part of that. That Jim and Norm were both doing the things that were making the people mad.
Yeah,
like he told the story, and you probably saw this one, but I'll say it for the people. Yeah, because I've
listening.
been watching it in clips on YouTube rather than.
Yeah, that's how I've been watching it. And he told a story about when Norm Macdonald kept getting in trouble with the NBC brass because of all the jokes about OJ that he was making during Weekend Update. They went to Norm Macdonald and they said, look, we're going to fire Jim Downey, but we want you to stay. And Norm Macdonald's like, if you fire Jim, I'm leaving. And I think Norm and Jim were fired in tandem later on. But Norm never told Jim that he stood up for him like that. Norm was such a humble, generous dude. He never went up to Jim Downey and was like, hey, guess what I just did?
Yeah, exactly. And I remember Jim Downey said, let's see, really quick, do I want pneumonia or shingles?
You are over 50. You should probably get your shingles.
Yeah.
I mean, the shingles vaccine is actually something that I would want to talk to my primary care provider about first before signing up to get it at Walgreens.
Let me get it on Friday, October 6th. Let's see. Times.
Hey, this Friday. That's tomorrow.
Oh, look.
If you're just joining us at the GudeLaurance podcast, Paul is signing up. This is a public service announcement. Paul is signing up for his COVID and flu vaccines to let everybody know that it's safe. Leading by example, Paul Goody.
I'm also getting the shingles vaccine.
You are.
So it looks like I can get them. All right.
It's all free. So
here's what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to call Jennifer just really quick. So just take a second.
But what are you going to call her?
My wife. My wife.
Oh, I forgot to. I need to do that. I was. Jennifer sent me an email to buy worthless crap I don't need to support Betty's band, which I am going to do. But I appreciated the honesty and directness of the ask. Let's see, where's that email? I cannot find it. If you're now just tuning in, Paul's on the phone to his wife. Jennifer Pratt, you used to know her as Jennifer Fact Checker. And he's grown oddly silent. Oh, and he's frozen. I don't know if it's Paul. Oh, no. And maybe he muted while he was on the phone with her. And he's still muted. Nobody can hear him. He's probably still recording his side of the conversation, though. This play-by-play brought to you by the COVID vaccine. He doesn't know what's happened. He hit the button. He's trying to unmute. I'm trying to read his lips, but I can't. Oh, and he's gone. And we're back to just me. Hey, everybody. This is just me. I'm at Annex Theater. Annex is a fringe theater, the longest running fringe theater in Seattle proper. We are in tech for a new show that is
Now it
opening
works.
soon.
Okay.
Called Battle Crow Radio, written by Colleen Conway Blanchard, directed by Sam Rowe. Tickets are available at annextheater.org. We will be streaming the show. If you want to watch the show from the safety and comfort of your own home, just go to annextheater.org to get information on that. I am actually the one who sets up the streaming, and I have not yet created the YouTube page for that, so you cannot click the little reminder icon yet, but that is coming once somebody reminds me to do it.
My gender is required, Ben.
Gender assigned at birth. It's a new phrase that they're saying to be inclusive, regardless of what your gender is now.
No.
They want to know what your gender was assigned at birth.
It just says gender required. That's all it is.
Oh, that is
Select
not
race.
my experience.
Ethnicity required. Non-Hispanic or Latino. As far as I know.
And if
Book
you
appointments.
can tell us why we have to say we are white and also not Hispanic, that is...
I believe it's because someone can be Hispanic and yet also white. There was Jennifer, and I'm not. This is all I'll say. Jennifer, when she was when she was doing the census thing, one of the things that she noticed is there are people who, in the census, were checking the white box, who maybe wouldn't have checked the white box in other times in our nation's history. And you know, I'm all for it. Do it. Why not? So I'm now signed up for my flu shot, my COVID shot, and my shingles shot.
That's a lot of shots.
It is a lot of shots.
Bartender.
And I'm running a D&D game on Sunday. So who knows? Might have to cancel if I feel horrible.
One of the reasons
but
why
maybe I'll be fine.
One of the reasons why I kickstarted my efforts to get the vaccine is because it's actually COVID's it's surging. You've probably heard this.
Yeah, I've seen people with masks and stuff.
I do. I know a number. Like my brother-in-law has COVID now. Our marketing director here at Annex has COVID. Who was in contact with the director of the play that is rehearsing right now. So they're considering opening back by a day. I was here last night, so like I was in contact with somebody who was in contact. You know, it's
Friend of the show.
I tested today. Andy, I'm negative, so
that's very good. Friend of the show, Andy, had COVID.
Yeah,
I think he's had it before too. I think this might be the second time he's gotten it.
Paul, you haven't had it yet, have you?
I have not. Nope.
Yeah, neither me. Nope. I've not had it either.
You know, hey, maybe this is part of it. Do you remember, Ben?
Yes.
That I got evaluated psychologically for my 50th birthday. I splurged. I treated myself. I got a full workup and autism were on there, but number one with a bullet, OCD, something that I have not been previously diagnosed with.
You went and read your the report on one of our shows, like the entire thing.
I did indeed. So that was a good one, I think. So so this is what happened. Betty was going to homecoming, right? And I was talking about Betty and homecoming and how bad of a time I had at homecoming. I was hoped that she was having a good time, and here are the things that could go wrong. And Jennifer looked at me and said, you should really get that OCD thing checked out. And I was like, what do you mean? Because I was obsessively thinking about the thing. And I didn't check with my therapist. I had a therapy appointment today about it. I didn't check with her. But the treatment for it is this: you can't stop obsessive thoughts from happening. They're your thoughts. You can't outthink your way out of thoughts. But what effective treatment for OCD is trying to stop the behaviors that come out of those thoughts, right? Stop
Yeah.
so like an example when I talk to her is I can't stop thinking about, oh, I've got this thing that needs to happen or this thing that's happening at work tomorrow. And I can't stop thinking about that. But what I can stop doing is getting up at 3 a.m. to write an email about the thing that I'm not thinking about. I can't stop thinking about, right?
Yeah.
I can actually get up and leave work without sending that email. And maybe that'll be fine. So that's kind of part of I'll get back into that in just a second. But so that was what she said. And I was like, yeah, I know. And then I was watching YouTube, and you know how we talked about Conan's thing with Jim Downey was on
Yeah.
YouTube. I've been watching a lot of things about comedians that I like on YouTube, and Maria Bamford was on, and I got a thing that she did at the OCD keynote. And I was like, oh, I have this OCD thing. She did this speech at this OCD keynote, and I watched it. It was great. And then there was an ad for No CD. This episode brought to you by No CD. An ad. It was Howie Mandel talking about No CD and what a great service it is. It turned out that they were in plan for me. And here's the thing, Ben. They have an app, and their app is really good. And having done mental health things just recently, locally, on places that don't have apps or have very a barrier to entry, these were great. And
So no CD is it like a methodology to curb your OCD habits and actions?
They use a methodology that is, I think it's called ERP. Again, this is just my second session. I should know this. It is called ERP, exposure RP. I don't know the
risk profile.
No. I'm going to look it up because in this one case, I am doing kind of.
Tell me more about your OCD, Paul.
It might be.
Without telling me you have OCD.
Oh no, is this happening? Enterprise resource planning. That is not correct. OCD. ERP OCD treatment. It is often referred to as the gold standard exposure response prevention therapy. Okay. So I can give you a basic idea of how it works. So I want to go on to I'm using this example. Let's say I'm afraid of going onto elevators. I don't want to go on elevators, right?
Yeah.
So what they do is they say, okay, well, just walk with me to the elevator. So the guy is walking with his therapist to the elevator, and the therapist says, okay, now I would like you to walk through the force field that is keeping you from getting onto this. So the therapist gets on the elevator, says, I want to see you walk through the force field that keeps you getting onto this elevator. And he was like, well, what do you mean? Well, you said you can't get on this elevator. You've walked through the doorway of my office, so you know how to walk through doorways. You walked down the hall, so you know how to walk. You can step on this elevator. You just won't. And there's a difference. Because if you can't, I want to see the force field that'll bounce you off. So it's the way that I described it is, you remember Project Mayhem in Fight Club?
The movie?
Yeah,
book?
Fight Club, the movie. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just assuming
Project
it's
Mayhem was getting people out of their comfort zones, forcing them to do stuff. basically the idea is they find out what scares you. What are the things that are causing your OCD? Um, so the obsession is the thought, the compulsion is the act. So the thought is, if I don't do this ritual, something bad will happen. And then the compulsion is the ritual.
Right.
So like, um, there's one, I think I've talked about it on here before. When I go to a store, I try to buy 5 things.
Yeah, you have mentioned
And
that before.
the way that I work or have worked up until this point is I think my way out of it, right? Well, the reason that I buy five that so I'll give you an example. The reason I buy 5 things, right? And there wasn't a reason, right? But I give myself a reason. I say the reason I buy 5 things is because 4 is the, bad luck number in Japan. And so I'm buying 5 things so that I don't buy 4 things. All of a sudden, by making 4 things the thing that's forbidden rather than 5 things or the thing that I have to do, uh, I can now buy 1 thing or 2 things or 3 things and 5 things. So now all of a sudden, I've opened up how many things I can buy. That's how me without therapy deals with this stuff. I find like loopholes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But then there are also problems because I will say, all right, well, Paul, if you buy 5 things 4 times in a row, then that's 4 things. It's just 20 divided by 5 is 4. So you gotta change up now. You bought 5 things this time. You better buy probably 2 or 3. Or I just so what this therapy does is, hey, you can have the thought that something bad is going to happen if you don't buy 5 things or if you buy 4 things or whatever it is. Sit with being uncomfortable about it. And this is the thing. This is how they get you, these therapists. I'm not going to tell you that by not buying 5 things, bad things won't happen to you. I can't make that claim. I'm just saying that you don't know either.
Right.
And so that's kind of the idea is their goal, the goal of the therapy is not to get rid of the thoughts. The idea is you can't really get rid of the thoughts necessarily, but to get rid of the behavior. And so then it doesn't cause you as much trouble. And eventually that chatter in your mind becomes background noise. So, by trying to stop it, you're focused on it. The idea is to let the chatter become background noise and know that a thought is just a thought. It doesn't have to be action. And so that's kind of what I'm doing.
And you
I
find
had
it's
a
helping.
so far. I mean, I've only been to 2 sessions. I had one yesterday. I had this one today. I have one on Monday, and I have one next Thursday. They start you off with a lot of, you know, uh, a lot of
More
activity,
frequency. Yeah.
making sure that you're engaged and you're doing the thing, and then eventually you get homework. Um, Again, knowing me, Ben, you know how difficult this is. You give them a list of your fears from greatest to least. You just give them all of your secrets, and then they
and then now they control
and
you.
and then they make you do them. They expose you to them,
Yeah.
and then say, "Well, this isn't that bad," you know. Um, and I mean, we've talked about this. I think probably search the audio, everyone. We've probably talked about this before. But one of the reasons why I was pegged with OCD is so, like, for instance, right? This is called a spudger. It's a tool that is used here. Where
Can't
is it?
see it, but I know what a spudger is.
Where is it? Why can't I?
Are you on the
Why can't
iPad?
I-
It's on the top, in the camera's in the middle somewhere, on the other side.
There
we
it
go.
is.
Yeah.
Okay, so I use this to clean dust out of my mice, right? But
Yeah.
every time I look at this, Ben, every time I see it, I think about hooking this into my eye and just pulling it out.
Jesus Christ.
Or if I look at this side, right, I think about inserting it up into my gums and just like squishing it around until blood comes out, that sort of thing. Can't stop thinking about it. And imagine that with every single object I look at. Imagine,
Is that you
so
feel that's connected to? And I think that the Germans or the French have a word for this, where somebody who is not normally suicidal, when they're standing on the edge of the cliff,
oh
thinks
yeah,
about jumping off, staring
right.
into the void.
It's Call of the Void.
Yeah,
Call of the Void.
Call of the Void.
Yes, I think that it's and this is the thing. This is the exact thing. They're not going to teach me to not have that problem, right? What they're going to teach me is to stop me from
not doing
from covering this with a piece of paper or a blanket or whatever, so I'm not looking at it. Being able to look at it and be okay with it, right?
Yeah.
The stuff that are stopping are all the different compulsions. Again, obsessive door checking for locks, checking to make sure the door is locked, right? They're not going to keep you from wondering if the door is locked. They're going to keep you from driving all the way back home to make sure the door is locked. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So far, I feel okay, but of course, anytime I start any new therapy, I like being part of it. I like
you
the
do want to
attention
be
that I get.
engaged with your therapist.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things I will say is that if you look through the audio, if you search the audio, you will find things about me enthusiastically talking about how I like the different rules that cover the Sabbath in Judaism and how it's really great and all that. With perspective for my OCD and all that, what a bunch of new rules for me to have to do, and
Yeah.
so, this is going to be the reverse. I have to write down my list of fears, and then I will get homework assignments. They described another one like this, right? Somebody is afraid that they're going to hurt their family member, right? This guy is afraid that he's going to stab his wife. And so what the guy does so that he doesn't stab his wife is he makes sure that he and his wife are never alone in the same room together. There always has to be a third person there, so on and so forth, right? So what this therapy would do is it would have the guy and his wife, she's in the living room, he's in the kitchen, and they're both on folding chairs. And then they get closer and they get closer and they get closer, right? She's still in the dining room or the living room. He's in the kitchen. And they're close. And then he moves back into the kitchen 2 feet. She moves over the threshold into the kitchen 2 feet. And then they move until eventually they're sitting right next to each other in the kitchen, right? And eventually, when you get to it, there's a butter knife sitting between them.
I was wondering where the stabbing implement came into play here.
Right. So and you just totally do that, and then because my mind is this, I didn't say this to the therapist today, but I was like, and then eventually, at the culmination of therapy, he stabs his wife. That is not what they do. But and you go, it's not that. See, you stab your wife, and then it's not so bad. And
just
you
get
realize,
it out of your system.
She goes to the hospital. Yeah. She's fine.
It's a butter knife. It's not a deep wound.
No, that is not it. It's just basically the idea of you can't stop thinking about it, but the compulsions are the things that they get rid of. So the compulsion of never being in the same room with someone, or always like for me, the one thing that I know that you've already seen in action many times, having to use the bathroom right before I leave anywhere or go anywhere or do anything,
or right before a movie.
Right before a movie, yes, indeed. Right before I go on stage, but I think that's everybody.
Well, yeah, no, everybody does that.
But
That's everybody.
but for me, inconveniencing others every single time because I have to use the bathroom. Because
Yeah.
what on earth would happen if I was watching the movie and I had to get up and use the bathroom? Impossible. Can't do it. Have to
I
go to the bathroom beforehand.
I've been flying a lot this year, and I've realized that I would actually prefer to sit in the aisle seat as opposed to the window seat.
Hmm.
And that's only because, if I don't have to go to the bathroom, but if I know that I'm going to be in an area where I can't go to the bathroom for a long
Yeah.
time, that'll just make me have to go to the bathroom more.
Hey, yeah, exactly.
And I also
Because
don't
you'll be
like
thinking about it.
I'll be thinking about it, and I don't like inconveniencing others. And so if I'm sitting in the window seat, having to ask two people to like get up
Yep.
to let me out, it also fills me with low grade anxiety, which makes me have to go to the bathroom even more.
And also, if you think about it this way, you, Ben Lawrence, would rather sit in the aisle seat where you have two chances of having to get up because you're a people pleaser. You like people to be happy.
It's I don't
I
it's funny.
I
I don't mind
I have the
actually
same
doing that.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
exactly. And this
on
is
the
this is
on the
important.
exact same flights, if I'm in the I if I don't change any other habits, I will be able to sit in that aisle seat for the entire 4 hour flight and not have to get up once.
Yep, exactly. And so maybe that would be an example if you were going through this type of treatment, they might say, "Okay, I want you to sit in the aisle seat." And again, if we have the version of my version of this therapy, which takes it to the absurd level, all right, you're going to sit in. I mean, they'd have you sit in the window seat, right? If
Yeah.
you can sit in the aisle seat, you can sit in the window seat. Try it. Stick with that being uncomfortable. You'll find out that you can do it. Um, if you went to my extreme version, you're going to be sitting in that window seat. Also, you're going to be drinking iced tea for the entire time, and eventually, Ben, you're going to be peeing
Yeah.
your pants. You're going to find out that it's fine. Uh, people, oh, like Ben, this is crazy, but I just remembered this. Like two different flights got canceled or had to be diverted or something because someone on them had explosive diarrhea.
Yeah,
Do you remember this?
that's a terrible story. Some dude like couldn't he was like running to the bathroom and
Yeah.
couldn't and like in the aisle, on the way to the lab.
Oh
Like
no.
yeah, and they had to turn around and land.
Oh, hey Ben, it's gonna be time for Ben gonna guess the news.
Ben gonna guess the we should have music for this.
And this is an interesting thing because it's not. I'll give you a big hint. This news, I
Has to
did
do
not
with
get
poop.
through. I didn't get it through a news channel. I got it through other means.
Other means.
And now here's what I will say. I was in a meeting. I want to say it was yesterday. And people started freaking out, and I told them, "Hey, don't worry. I know what this is, and we're fine."
Yeah. Is it
What is the
the
news?
I think the news is the test of the emergency broadcast signal sent to phones.
That is correct. Um, I received an email from a coworker forewarning of this before it happened, and then it happened. And apparently, another person told me that um, the news reported that a lot of people were disturbed by it or concerned.
There, the only reason I knew about it to start like at all was because there was this strange tinfoil hat conspiracy theory going around that this emergency broadcast signal was going to awaken some sort of thing that was in the COVID virus that would turn the people who have been COVID vaccine that would turn people who had been vaccinated into zombies. Have you heard this?
I did. Someone did in fact mention that. That someone, but no one I talked to thought that. Somebody mentioned that somebody else had said it.
Well, see, here's the thing. This is one of those things where I don't know if people actually believed it or if this is something that somebody made up to make fun of conspiracy theorists.
Yeah. I mean, that's tough these days. Hard to say. But
Right.
it reminded me of something that happened back in, I want to say 2018, where a friend of mine at work, don't talk about work, a friend of mine at work,
Take a drink.
or I would say a person that I was acquainted with at work, and we were friendly, right? I didn't really go out or do anything with friends at work.
A
coworker at the time. But like, see, okay, so here's an example. Chris Harris, who you've met.
I have met Chris.
Chris Harris is a friend at work. Boaz Frankel is a friend at work. These are people that I met at work
as well.
that I became friends with. They are definitely this guy wasn't really friends with him, but I knew him at work. And
you were friendly.
Friendly.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. He had lived in Hawaii, and that's where he got his cell phone from. And so, in the middle of the workday, he got an emergency alert saying that there were missiles inbound to Hawaii,
and to take shelter immediately. Yeah,
this is not a drill.
Yeah,
that was the thing. And apparently it was a test. And whoever had put this in, now, of course, me, Ben, when I think about it, because you and I raised on television and all that, there was a missile and MacGyver stopped it from happening or whatever.
It
must have been
I remember that
black thing.
I remember that story. I don't remember it being so long ago. But yeah, it was a test of this emergency system, and a poor technician who was in charge of like doing it hit like a wrong key, and so made it look like it was an actual thing and not a test, and frightened a lot of people.
And what happened to that guy? Probably nothing. See, this goes back to the OCD thing.
I'm sure he still feels bad about it 5 years later. Or she. I'm not going to pretend I know who it is.
Also brought to you by Doc's
them.
Home style pretzels. These are really good, Ben. Have you had these?
No, I haven't. Is that a Midwestern thing? Because I haven't even seen those.
Yeah, Doc's Home style pretzels. Is it a Midwestern thing? Let's find out. They are from Nevada.
Southwestern.
But they made it as the Midwest. Here's the thing. I think we in the Midwest get lots of food that you guys don't get on the West Coast.
Because we're snobs and really like our avocado toast.
Because we're on two different. We're like in the center of, do you know what we don't have here?
What don't you have there?
Taco time.
No taco? Well, do you have a Taco Bell? Taco time is very regional.
Yeah, well, we do have a Taco Bell.
Yeah.
We don't have taco time. And Ben, they're not the same thing.
No, of course not. Taco time is far superior, but taco time is like a Northwest thing, right?
I mean, that's why the closest taco. Oh, it's time to do it. Taco time watch.
Is it taco time to do it?
Oh, Ben. Awesome. Let's see where the latest taco time is.
The latest taco time.
Or the closest taco time.
This just in.
No.
Taco time now is 4:42.
Yeah, so Ben, you have to understand. There's a place near where I live called Belleville, Illinois.
Did you Google taco times near me?
I did. There's a place here called Belleville, Illinois.
Belleville.
And it's on Factorial Boulevard, Southeast Bellevue. And I'm like, what? And then I realized Bellevue, not
Bellevue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
no results nearby.
The nearest Taco Time to Edwardsville, Illinois, is in Bellevue, Washington.
That's what they're saying. Let's go.
I
and
haven't.
see.
You know what? I haven't been to a Taco Time in ages. I should go. They have.
Oh, you know,
these,
I didn't Google. I did Apple Maps, so I'm gonna Google now.
They did famously back in the early days of email listservs when Annex had a company listserv. There was a discussion on which was better, tater tots or Mexi fries. And I don't know if I don't remember, honestly, if the discussion had to do with the actual quality of the food, the taste, or just the semantics of what do you call these little crushed potato wedges, wedge things. Do you call them tater tots or do you call them Mexi fries? And
Mexi fries are different than tater tots, and they are superior, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know what? I think I probably deleted all this stuff because that was back in the day when, like, in Yahoo Mail, you only had a certain number of megabytes to store emails, and so I probably deleted it just to clear up space. But I wish I could go back and clear up and find those archives because I'm sure that would please a lot of old Annex people. And Paul, what is happening?
There is a Taco Time that's temporarily closed in near Chicago. In Bloomingdale, Chicago, there's a Taco Time that's temporarily closed.
Now here's the question: is it a Taco Time brand Taco Time, or is it an off-brand, independently owned Midwestern Taco Time?
Ben, I'm going to show you a picture.
With the Seattle Taco Time.
I'm going to show you a picture. You tell me. You tell
me,
Ben.
Show me the picture.
What does that look like to you, sir?
I have no idea. It's kind of washed out. I can't really see. And kind of, yeah, it does with the cactus there. It does look like the Taco Time logo.
Observe, if you will. You see the taco,
and the Mexi fries right there. Yeah.
Look what's on the other side of the taco.
It looks like a burrito of some sort.
Ben, you have to be familiar with the Taco Time tube of stuff.
No, I am not familiar with the Taco Time tube of stuff. I've not been in a Taco Time in probably 20 years.
It's their burritos. They're tubes filled with either cheese and beans or cheese and meat, and they're the perfect food delivery system. And I still
One
think
food unit, as McCandless and I would call the Taco Del Mar burritos.
Yes, I feel as though Taco Time burritos should be filled with everything. You should be able to get a broccoli and cheese Taco Time burrito, one that's filled with spaghetti,
it's like a hot pocket.
Yeah, specifically like a hot pocket, but it's a tube. Yes,
a hot pocket's kind of like a flattened tube.
Oh, that is so crazy, though. It's temporarily closed. Why is it temporarily closed, Ben?
Who knows? I used to live right down the street from a Taco Time. Do you remember the Taco Time in Wallingford that had the green glass facade on 45th Street there? It was a fancy.
Sounds very familiar. Yeah,
a very fancy Taco Time. I think I went there once in college.
Let's say I'm standing in front of. I'm standing across the street from the movie theater in Wallingford.
Yeah.
Right?
Which is no longer.
I can't get any closer because that guy's there and he's going to yell at me if I get in. All right. If I'm standing there and I'm looking at the theater, right, and I'm across the street.
You're across the street.
Taco Time, I'm across the street from the theater and I'm staring at the theater. The Taco Time you're talking about is on my side of the street to my left.
It is on your side of the street, but I don't know what side of you it's on.
I believe it's on the left.
I'm looking it up now. It would be.
I believe the QFC is on my right.
It is right to your left. It is almost like you are standing right next to it.
Okay. And the QFC is to my right, yeah?
The QFC is to your right, yeah.
Oh, I feel good. I feel good. I feel good. That's wonderful.
Yeah, the Taco Time is like almost directly across the street from the oh, wait a minute. No, it's not. Hang on a sec. Maybe I have this all wrong.
I think I'm right. I think I'm right. Don't take this from me, Ben.
There's the Taco Time. Where is the movie theater? Oh, so
I think the Taco Time might actually be further down.
It is, yeah, it is to your left, but it's like a block away.
Yep.
I was a block off.
Yep.
I was a block off.
You're such a block off.
You block off.
Yeah. Oh boy. So yeah, very exciting times. Here at the Goody Pratt household. I'm still playing Baldur's Gate 3, but also Phantom Liberty came out for Cyberpunk 2077.
The man who shot Phantom Liberty Valance.
Exactly. And Assassin's Creed Mirage just came out. So Jennifer is all up on games. Tons of games for Jennifer to play.
I do not know any of these games. The the Meta Quest 3 has started to ship. It's a VR headset. I have the
as opposed to the other one, or I have the
Oculus Quest 2, and I'm like, maybe I should get a 3. But you know what? I haven't played any games on my VR headset in like 6 months.
Oh, Jennifer plays them for sure. Beat Saber. What's the difference between the 3 and the 2? Do you know?
Larger internal hard drive. It's a slimmer form factor. And I'm sure the graphics look better. I mean, it's another generation, but like from the outside, it's a more lightweight, and you can get 120 gig hard drive instead of, I think the most you can get in the 2 is maybe 64.
Wow. And I wonder, obviously the iPhone thing is still number one at price wise, at like, what is it, $3,000? The VR thing or not the VR, it's not VR.
Oh, the Apple headset?
Yeah. Isn't it like $3,000?
No, it was like $1,500, but it was still like so expensive. Like,
what's it called? Apple? Is it Apple View? Apple?
Compared to all the other VR headsets out there, it was you pay the Apple tax. I actually don't remember what it's called.
Oh,
but it's not even expected to ship until like summer of next year.
Apple augmented reality. It is called the Apple Vision Pro.
Vision, that's right.
It's
not the
Vision
Apple Glass
Pro. And let's see, it's the era of spatial computing, Ben.
Right.
Apple Vision Pro.
That's gonna take off just as much as the metaverse is gonna take off.
You think so? I think it's possible that it will do a little bit better. It depends, but yeah, it still doesn't look.
Apple has more of a built-in fanatic base than Facebook did. So there will be more like complete buy-in from a certain sector of their consumer base versus, Facebook's. But like, as to whether or not spatial computing is taking over the business world, I don't see it happening anytime soon.
I think the thing that would make it take off is if we were still all remote, and there's a push to, so there might be a little bit of a war there. Okay, I was right. $3,500.
Oh, I was wrong. I thought it was a lot less.
Yeah. The thing that you're thinking of, Ben, I really think so. There's an article here from Tom's Guide, brought to you by Tom's Guide, that it costs $1,500 to make.
Maybe that's what I remember reading.
Yep.
Well, they got to make a
Well,
profit somehow.
You were thinking of that's what they said about Jesus. No, but they definitely had there's a book at some point in time where Jesus was actually a psyop that somebody did. I don't remember if it was an alien or if it was somebody else, but it was kind of a cool concept. But I didn't read the book because I was a religious kid at the time, and I wanted to read a science fiction book about Jesus, and then I found one, and I was like, and couldn't read it because it was a blasphemous. I don't even remember if that
Blasphemy.
book was really what I thought it was, but that's my memory of the book. Is that it was people trying to make Jesus. Oh, maybe I'm just thinking about Dune. I'm kidding, but also yes, that's sort of the plot of Dune. That is also kind of interesting. The problem with Dune is that it's about the white savior complex, but it's also about the white savior complex. So it's a weird thing because it's a book about a guy who goes to a different culture and is thought of as their messiah, but in the book they intentionally make it so that he's thought of as their messiah. And so it's this weird kind of commentary on the thing itself and so on and so forth.
I mean, but when that's the thing. Like we've talked about this before. When is something a commentary versus the actual thing, and is there a difference?
Yeah. And the example being, of course, that we got, I think from a friend of ours, even back when I was in not St. Louis, Seattle. Somebody mentioned this. I think they brought it up that they don't need white guys doing satire about bad behavior by other white guys, because that form of satire is as annoying as the legitimate thing.
Satire by showing the thing itself, like white guys being terrible white guys to show how other white guys are terrible. Yeah.
Now, a really good example of that, which I thought was actually kind of funny, was Tim Heidecker did a thing called An Evening with Tim Heidecker, where Tim Heidecker was playing a character named Tim Heidecker, who was a sort of right-wing bad comic.
Yeah.
Playing himself as this, and it was good. And I am comically literate enough to know that that what he's doing, and he winks enough so that you know what he's doing. But I do know that would not be, I'm part of the target audience. I could see how it could just be annoying to people if they didn't need to see that. Are you explaining to me that these types of guys are awful? I mean, you and I have been to Spin the Bottles where they've booked a comedian for questionable reasons, like why did Brett decide to give this person a platform?
Because he won a stranger thing.
Wait, what?
Oh, don't you remember that
one?
No,
I'm not talking about Inkblot.
Inkblot, that's
was his own
name. Yeah.
Inkblot was his own deal. This is the thing. Inkblot, and I will go on record to say this. I don't care. Inkblot tried his best, and I don't. There, but for the grace of God, go. I don't think that he is. He was trying. Right. He wasn't doing. There were comedians that we had at Spin the Bottle who were, the standard misogynistic style.
There was comedians. A strange run at Spin the Bottle where the audience just did not care for stand-up comics. And I don't want to say it was because they were all, white dude misogynist, sort of like shock comics. But it was like, you could do so much different art on the Spin the Bottle stage, but for whatever reason, stand-up comedy just kind of died.
it's because of the stand-up comics that they got. I am serious. When Emmett Montgomery became, a sort of a staple at Spin the Bottle, he was great. People loved him. It's because his style of comedy was so good. The people that were bombing were doing more standard comedic fare.
Yeah.
And some of it was like, here's the thing. If you got Jen Moon booing at you, you're not doing it right. I don't even know if it was I think it was Jen, but it could have been somebody else. And it was just the standard, women be shopping kind of jokes that did not go over well.
Wives, am I right?
Yeah. No.
Guys, back me
You
up on
aren't.
this. Does your girlfriend really nag you?
Oh man, there was an ad that I keep on getting right now on YouTube about, is your wife nagging you all the time? It doesn't matter what you do, she's always yelling at you. And I'm like, what did I watch that got me this? I have a bunch of stuff.
Some sort of Dane Cook YouTube special.
Well, and here's the thing, and not to. Dane Cook did a lot of work to get himself seen as a better type of guy, and I can't believe I say this.
No, you've been a Dane Cook apologist in the past on the show.
It's totally true. It's totally true. He did an appearance on Louis to show that he was an okay guy. I mentioned this. Yep. Same example, when Betty was a kid, I would give her Zerberts every once in a while. And I was like, all right, is this crossing a line? Is this weird? And I said to myself at the time, no, Bill Cosby, America's dad, does Zerberts all the time. How could that be untoward at all? I think we're fine. These are the problems. I feel as though there are people that are beloved, and we will never find something out about them that ruins who they are to us. I'm thinking, and I could be wrong. I could honestly wrong, but I think, I did this the last time too. Why can't I think? Oh yeah, John Waters. I think John Waters, I don't think there's anything that he can do because of the fact that he is balanced in his dark side and his light side. There's nothing that he can do that would make us go, oh no, not John Waters. Again, because of what he was and is. I guess he's still around. I think. Yeah. But it's when you're known mostly for being a wonderful person. You're Mr. Rogers, you're Tom Hanks, you're a beloved person has that ability to fall. Now here's the thing. Louis C.K. was never not problematic with his joke telling. Right? It's that like Bill Cosby's jokes were all, clean, right? And he had that dark side. In this case, Louis C.K.'s jokes, they were thoughtful. Sometimes they were funny, but they weren't clean. They weren't, I'm a good person and here's why. It was always, so his fall didn't damage him as much. I don't think. No, it's because he had that.
Like, Louis also wasn't the kind of person to tell his audience, these are the types of morals that America should have. I'm telling you how to be a good American. Bill Cosby had, that America's dad kind of thing, where it's like, you have to be a good person. I'm telling you how to be a good person. And so when he turned out to be not a good person, that hurt a lot of, regardless of who he hurt in real life, like really with all the, whatever he did. it's just people in America who like trusted him, who believed him, who looked up to him. That was, that was the hardest part. Louis was like, I'm telegraphing to you what kind of person I really am. And then when it came out that he actually is that kind of person, people were like, you did some bad things. But then now he's still touring, and he's been on podcasts, and he's not like, he was canceled, but like he's coming back, which a lot of people still don't like, but like he still has his built-in audience.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, he did a lot of I'm not a good person work. The thing that still bugs me is the guy renting a clown, a person renting a clown, bit that he did on Saturday Night Live when Tig Notaro already did it. That bugs me. That one is.
I don't remember that. He stole a joke. So the SNL writer stole a joke from Tig Notaro
and had him in it, and he, I think he knew about it and he did it anyway. And it was the problem with it was that it was so similar, right?
Yeah.
There's not I mean, there's no such thing as a cover really in comedy. There should be, and I think it would be great if there were, right? If somebody does a version of somebody's joke and you go, "Oh, well, that's a famous joke that this person did." I would love for that to be a thing that could, but you do your own spin on it.
John Osbold told me once that he found on YouTube a number of different sketches or sketch groups that have done one very specific The Habit sketch.
Which The Habit sketch was it?
It's where they're the vending machines, and so like the guys are like standing there like this, and somebody comes along, puts a dollar bill in their in the vending machine, and they go nom 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 nom, and then they spit it back out, and like the vending machines are all talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But the curious thing was, and this is more than one, the sketches that he found on YouTube are done at like churches. So they're like church group kids doing this one very specific habit sketch and posting them on YouTube. And it's not like they had a different spin on it. It's almost word for word how we wrote the sketch.
There are fraternities that will do the same thing. Church groups, fraternities, things like that. And they don't see it as a problem because they're doing it for this event, right?
Yeah.
The reason I mentioned this, I've seen that before. I've seen people do like Monty Python sketches, things like that. And they don't say, hey, we're, Phi Kappa Beta or whatever. I don't know Greek names, but, and we're big fans of Monty Python. Here's a Monty Python thing. They just present it as this is a thing that we're doing. You will also know, maybe, that there are books of skits and sketches that are published for these types of events, like, that you can buy. And then you can put in. Yeah. There are different, like, I have a book on clowning, for example, that has a bunch of different clown type of things, and they're all really like if someone were to do one, you'd be like, oh, I know about that. I know that one, right? The one clown thinks that he killed the other clown. The other clown is actually still alive. He pushes him down. He's sitting on the ground dead. Pushes him down, his legs come up, he pushes his legs down, his body comes up, you and I actually, I think that might actually be a one that we did.
We've done that.
So yeah, so it's like that, except they just go on YouTube and they grab any comedy stuff that they can find and they look up funny sketch and then they do it. There were people on TikTok that were doing that for a while, and still do. They just redo a sketch that somebody else did.
And that's
And
comedy.
it's crazy. And
And
that's
that's
comedy,
our
ladies
hour.
and gentlemen. Hey, that is our hour. Ben, as you'll note, I did, in fact, not keep it wrong this time. I was on my phone a couple of times. I haven't had that much of a lapse in a while, so thank you for bearing with me. Interestingly to know that there is a taco time in Chicago that is temporarily closed. I hope it
Temporarily
reopens.
closed.
Yeah,
Well, just keep an eye
because
on it.
Jennifer
Join
will
their mailing
be.
list.
We'll because we could go there for a weekend just to go to taco time. And she would
And that's
be.
all you eat all weekend is taco time.
Hey,
And their tube of stuff.
don't put it past me. But I'm still eating healthily. You know what I've just to digress really quick. Fake crab legs. Have I told you about this already?
I had some yesterday.
I eat fake crab legs and cocktail sauce. That's my lunch every day for lunch. Fake crab legs and cocktail sauce.
That's
And it tastes
terrible
good.
for you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It is good for. No, it's good for me. It's good for me.
Sashimi. It's
No
got,
saturated
like, lots of
fat?
fish oils and yeah.
Yep.
I had
So,
some
all right,
smoked
Ben.
salmon for lunch.
Hey, that's not bad either.
Yeah. All right, Paul. Good talking to you. As
Yeah.
always, except maybe for today, keep it wrong, and I will talk to you
Yes.
next week.
Please keep it wrong, Ben, and I will talk to you next week. Thanks so much. And I figured out finally the record button is under transport. So all I need to, why is it system?